Liam had always been cautious about his health. At 34, he wasn't reckless, but life had a way of sneaking surprises. On a crisp Tuesday morning, he walked into Dr. Harper's clinic, expecting the usual, a checkup, some blood work, maybe a gentle reminder to exercise more. He liked Dr. Harper. She had this calm, reassuring presence that made the sterile clinic feel less intimidating. Liam's heart wasn't racing. He had nothing to worry about, or so he thought. After taking his coat and checking in, the nurse led him to an examination room. The walls were painted a soft beige, with a small window letting in muted daylight. Liam glanced at the chart on the counter, flipping it open absent-mindedly. Routine, simple. Dr. Harper came in, clipboard in hand. "Morning, Liam. How have you been feeling lately?" she asked, settling onto her chair. Her voice carried warmth, almost like a friend asking about your week rather than a doctor running tests. "I'm good. A bit tired sometimes, but nothing unusual," Liam replied. He shrugged. Work had been stressful, sure, but wasn't everyone tired these days? She nodded, jotting down a few notes. "We'll check your vitals and review your blood work, just to make sure everything's fine." As she examined him, Liam noticed a quiet tension in her movements, something subtle but present. He dismissed it, assuming she was just focused on the details. After a few minutes, she stepped back and adjusted her glasses. "Everything looks normal so far, but there's something I want to discuss regarding your recent blood test." Her tone was calm, but carried a slight weight. Liam's stomach sank a little. Blood tests rarely brought good news, at least not the kind he wanted to hear. "Okay," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Dr. Harper turned the monitor toward him. "These results aren't alarming, but I noticed a pattern we should monitor. Your cholesterol is slightly elevated, and your liver enzymes are higher than usual. It's nothing critical yet, but it could indicate an underlying issue if left unchecked." Liam blinked. I didn't expect that. I mean, I eat reasonably well, exercise when I can. I thought I was okay." She gave a small, understanding smile. "Sometimes the body has its own rhythm. It doesn't always reflect our habits immediately. That's why routine checkups are important. We catch things early." Liam nodded, trying to absorb the information. His mind started racing with questions, fears, and the sudden awareness of his own mortality. "Let's schedule a follow-up in a few weeks, and I recommend some lifestyle adjustments. Nothing extreme, just small changes. Also, I'd like to run another set of tests, including an ultrasound, just to be thorough." He agreed, though a part of him couldn't shake the unease creeping in. He had walked in expecting a simple checkup, and now felt like the ground had shifted slightly beneath him. As he left the clinic, the autumn wind hit him, brisk and sharp. He pulled his coat tighter, thinking about what Dr. Harper had said. The city felt a little colder, a little more daunting than before. Liam spent the rest of the day in a fog of mild worry. At work, he tried to focus on emails and meetings, but every so often, his mind drifted back to those words, slightly elevated, underlying issue, follow-up. By evening, he decided to take a walk along the riverfront. The sunset painted the water in streaks of orange and pink. Couples strolled hand in hand, joggers passed by, and children's laughter echoed in the distance. Life went on around him, yet he felt strangely disconnected. He remembered a quote he had read somewhere. "Sometimes it takes a small shock to remind us to pay attention." Maybe this was that moment. Maybe it was a gentle nudge to not take his health for granted. That night, Liam lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. He felt a mix of relief and anxiety. The relief of not being in immediate danger, the anxiety of the unknown ahead. It was a strange, unfamiliar balance. He reached for his phone and texted his best friend, Mark. "Hey, got some weird results at the doctor today. Nothing serious, but a follow-up soon. Guess I need to be healthier. Mark replied almost immediately. Better now than later. You've got this, man. Let's go for a run tomorrow? Liam smiled faintly. Sometimes support was all you needed to make sense of worry. As he finally closed his eyes, a thought lingered in the back of his mind. What if the mild shock today was just the beginning of a bigger story he didn't yet understand? If you're enjoying this story so far, please like the video and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. The night was quiet, but Liam couldn't sleep fully. A small sense of unease mixed with curiosity kept him awake. He wondered what the follow-up tests might reveal. Was it just a minor issue or something more serious waiting to be uncovered? He drifted into a restless sleep, dreaming of hospital corridors and waiting rooms, of voices whispering unknown results. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he knew tomorrow would bring a new chapter, one he wasn't quite ready for. The next morning, Liam woke with a tight knot in his chest. The sun had barely risen, casting a pale light through his blinds. He made coffee slowly, savoring the warmth, but the calm of the kitchen did little to ease his mind. Work was a blur. Emails, meetings, and phone calls passed by, but his thoughts kept returning to Dr. Harper's words. Slightly elevated, underlying issue, follow-up tests. Each phrase echoed like a quiet alarm. During lunch, he decided to call the clinic to confirm the schedule for his follow-up. The receptionist's voice was polite, but there was a brisk efficiency that made him feel small, like he was just another name on a long list. Dr. Harper has a slot this Friday at 10:30 a.m., she said. Liam noted it down, his hand slightly trembling. Thank you, he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. He hung up and sat back, letting out a slow breath. He didn't want to imagine what the ultrasound might reveal, but he knew he couldn't avoid it. After work, he met Mark for a quick run. The crisp air helped clear his mind, but it couldn't erase the lingering tension. Mark noticed it immediately. "You're quiet today. Something on your mind?" Mark asked. Liam hesitated. "Just the doctor stuff. Nothing serious, but it's unsettling." Mark clapped him on the shoulder. "Better to catch it early. You'll handle it, Liam. Don't let it eat at you before you even know what's really going on." He appreciated the encouragement, but as they ran along the riverfront, his gaze kept drifting to the water. It was calm, almost mocking in its serenity, while his thoughts were anything but. By Thursday, Liam found himself researching more than he intended. Articles about liver health, cholesterol management, and ultrasound procedures filled his evening. The internet was a mix of helpful tips and alarming possibilities. He tried to stay rational, but worry crept in, slow and persistent. That night, he went to bed early, hoping sleep would bring relief, but it came in fragments. He dreamed of sterile rooms, machines beeping, and shadows moving in corners. Each dream ended with a door opening and a voice whispering his name. Friday arrived with a gray sky and a light drizzle. Liam drove to the clinic, the streets slick with rain. The city seemed quieter than usual, as if it sensed the tension building inside him. He checked in and waited in the small lobby, watching the rain streak the windows. People passed by, chatting on phones, adjusting umbrellas. Life moved on, indifferent to the worries of one man. Finally, Dr. Harper called him in. Her calm presence greeted him, but he noticed a slight furrow in her brow. Liam's stomach clenched. "Morning, Liam. Ready for the ultrasound?" she asked. He nodded. The procedure was straightforward, nothing painful, but the minutes felt longer than they should. The technician's quiet professionalism contrasted sharply with the storm of thoughts in Liam's head. When it was over, he returned to Dr. Harper's office. She pulled up the images on her screen, pointing to areas she wanted to discuss. Liam, these results confirm what I suspected. There is some mild fatty buildup in your liver. It's not critical yet, but it's important we act now. He swallowed hard. Fatty buildup? So it's serious? No, not immediately, but it's a warning. With the right adjustments, we can prevent it from worsening. Diet, exercise, and regular monitoring will help a lot. Relief mixed with apprehension. It wasn't catastrophic, but it wasn't something to ignore either. Liam asked questions, jotting down notes. Dr. Harper patiently explained each recommendation: balanced meals, cutting back on processed foods, and moderate exercise. She even suggested a follow-up in 3 months to track progress. As he left the clinic, the rain had stopped, leaving a fresh scent in the air. Liam breathed deeply. It was strange. He felt a small spark of gratitude amid the anxiety. At least it had been caught early. At least there was a path forward. Walking home, he noticed the city differently. Puddles reflected the pale sky, and the sound of dripping water felt almost soothing. Life, he realized, was unpredictable, but moments like this, where he could act, change, and take control, were rare gifts. That evening, Liam called his sister, Emily, who lived in Toronto. They talked about life, work, and health. Her voice was comforting, grounding him. "Just focus on what you can do now," she said. "Worrying about later won't help. You're young, you're smart, and you can handle this." Her words helped more than he expected. For the first time in days, he felt a small measure of calm. Still, as he lay in bed that night, Liam couldn't shake one thought. What if the mild shock of today was just the start? What if there were other surprises waiting for him? The quiet of his apartment felt heavier somehow. Even with relief, a subtle tension lingered, reminding him that life often held moments that could change everything in an instant. He closed his eyes, determined to sleep, but the image of the ultrasound screen and Dr. Harper's calm warning lingered. A small part of him was ready for the challenge, but another part couldn't stop wondering what might come next. The night stretched on, and Liam felt the weight of the unknown pressing softly against his mind. Something inside him told him that this was only the beginning of a story he hadn't yet fully understood. The following week, Liam tried to return to normal life. Work carried on, friends checked in, and the city buzzed around him. But he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched by his own health, as if his body had become a silent observer judging every choice he made. He started small. Breakfast changed from bagels and coffee to oatmeal with fruit. Lunch was lighter, grilled chicken instead of fried, a salad instead of fries. It felt manageable, though every decision reminded him of Dr. Harper's words. Evenings became a time for walks along the quiet streets near his apartment. The autumn leaves crunched under his feet as he thought about the future. Would these small changes really be enough? One night, while walking, he ran into someone unexpected. Olivia, a colleague from work, was jogging along the same path. She smiled warmly when she saw him. "Hey, Liam, fancy seeing you here," she said. He returned the smile. "Yeah, I'm trying to be healthier. Doctor's orders." Olivia nodded knowingly. "I hear you. I've been trying to eat better and exercise too. Maybe we can keep each other motivated." Liam felt a warmth he hadn't expected. Olivia had always been kind at work, but seeing her outside in this casual, friendly way made her feel approachable, real. Over the next few days, they met several times for walks and even light jogging. Liam found himself looking forward to it, not just for the exercise, but for the conversation. Olivia had a way of listening that made him feel understood, and her laughter was easy and genuine. One evening, after a particularly long walk, they sat on a bench overlooking the river. The water shimmered under the setting sun, painting everything in gold and orange. "You're doing better than you think," Olivia said softly. "Small steps matter. You'll get there." Liam wanted to believe her, but a lingering doubt remained. The mild shock from the checkup still haunted him, a quiet reminder that life could change in a moment. A week later, Liam returned to the clinic for another routine blood draw. Dr. Harper's office felt familiar now, but the tension inside him hadn't lessened. "This is just to monitor progress," she said, her calm tone meant to soothe. "Your liver enzymes and cholesterol will tell us if the changes are working." Liam nodded, appreciating the reassurance. As she performed the tests, he allowed himself a small hope that the hard work and changes were paying off. Days passed, and Liam's routine became steadier. He woke early, went for short runs, ate carefully, and made sure to drink plenty of water. Olivia joined him whenever possible, and together they laughed, shared stories, and supported each other. But even with progress, Liam couldn't ignore a subtle anxiety that surfaced every night. He often lay awake, thinking about future appointments, imagining worst-case scenarios, and wondering if the mild shock of his initial results had been a warning for something more serious. Then, one evening, Liam received a call from the clinic. His heart skipped. "Liam, this is Dr. Harper's office. We have your results from the recent tests. We'd like you to come in and discuss them as soon as possible." He thanked the receptionist, but inside, a mix of anticipation and fear churned. He had been hoping for improvement, for reassurance that his lifestyle changes were enough. That night, sleep was impossible. He tried to focus on Olivia, on the walks, on the small victories of healthy meals and morning runs, but the phone call echoed relentlessly. Morning came too quickly. Liam drove to the clinic, rain lightly falling, painting the city in gray. The world outside felt heavy and quiet, mirroring his unease. Dr. Harper greeted him as usual, with her calm, gentle demeanor. But today, there was a serious note in her eyes. Liam's stomach tightened. "Liam," she said, pulling up his charts, "your lifestyle changes are helping, but there's something else I want to discuss. It's not urgent, but it's important we address it early." He nodded, bracing himself. "There's a mild irregularity in your thyroid function," she explained. "It's not dangerous at this stage, but it's something we should monitor and treat proactively. I want you to see an endocrinologist for a full assessment." Liam exhaled slowly. Relief that it wasn't critical, mixed with a new layer of concern. Another unexpected twist. Another test. Another unknown. As he left the clinic, the rain had stopped. The streets glistened, reflecting the morning sun breaking through clouds. He realized life had a way of layering surprises, sometimes subtle, sometimes shocking. Walking home, Liam thought about Olivia, about his new routines, about the small steps he had taken. Each change mattered, and even the mild shocks along the way were shaping him in ways he hadn't anticipated. But still, a quiet question lingered. How many more surprises were waiting just around the corner? The call to the endocrinologist's office came quicker than Liam expected. He found himself in another waiting room, surrounded by the soft hum of machines and the occasional cough from other patients. The smell of antiseptic was familiar now, almost comforting in its routine. Dr. Singh, a middle-aged doctor with sharp eyes and a warm smile, greeted him. "Liam, I've reviewed your labs. Your thyroid shows early signs of underactivity. It's mild, but it can affect energy, mood, and metabolism." Liam nodded, trying to stay calm. "So, it's not dangerous yet?" "Not immediately," Dr. Singh said, "but we want to prevent complications. We'll start with low-dose medication and periodic monitoring. Also, your lifestyle changes will help manage it." The explanation was clear, but Liam felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. One problem resolved, another revealed. It was a slow, steady lesson in patience and vigilance. Back home, he took a deep breath. The apartment felt quiet, the city noises muted through the closed windows. He thought about how different life had become over just a few weeks. Meals, exercise, doctor appointments, it all consumed his thoughts now. That evening, Olivia called. "Hey, run today?" she asked. Her voice was light, carrying its usual warmth. "I need a walk," he replied. "Can we just stroll for a bit?" They met by the river, autumn leaves swirling around their feet. Olivia noticed his tension. "You're quiet again. Still thinking about the doctors?" He nodded. "It's like one thing leads to another. First the liver, now the thyroid. I thought I was doing everything right, and suddenly I'm here, trying to manage all this." Olivia reached out, touching his arm gently. "You're not alone, Liam. You're handling this better than you realize, and I'll be here to remind you." Her support warmed him more than he expected. For the first time in weeks, he felt less like a patient and more like a person navigating life's challenges. Over the next month, Liam settled into a routine with purpose. Morning runs, healthier meals, and regular check-ins with Dr. Harper and Dr. Singh. He tracked his progress meticulously, noting improvements and setbacks. Some days were easy, others heavy, but each step felt meaningful. Work became a place of focus rather than distraction. He appreciated small victories, completing tasks efficiently, finishing meetings without stress. Life outside health concerns still existed, and he began to reconnect with friends. Olivia remained a constant presence. Their walks became longer, conversations deeper. Liam discovered a quiet joy in sharing his fears and victories with someone who truly listened. He even laughed more freely, feeling a lightness he hadn't known since before the checkup. One evening, after a particularly long walk, Liam shared his thoughts. "I never imagined a routine checkup could change my life like this. It's been overwhelming at times, but also eye-opening." Olivia smiled. "Sometimes the smallest shocks remind us what matters. You're learning to care for yourself, and that's worth everything." Her words echoed in his mind long after. Liam realized that this journey wasn't just about health. It was about awareness, self-respect, and connection. But even as he found comfort in routine and friendship, a subtle tension remained. Each appointment, each test, each update reminded him of the fragility beneath everyday life. Then, one Thursday afternoon, a call from Dr. Harper changed everything again. "Liam, I've reviewed your latest blood work. Can you come in today?" Her tone was calm, but carried an unspoken weight. Liam's stomach twisted. He had been feeling better, stronger, more in control. What could be wrong now? Driving to the clinic, he couldn't stop thinking about the last few weeks, how small changes had become a lifeline, how support had become a shield. And now another twist awaited, one that could redefine everything he thought he understood about his health. Walking into the familiar office, Liam noticed Dr. Harper's serious expression. She gestured for him to sit. "Liam," she began, "I have something new to discuss. It's not immediately dangerous, but I want to address it quickly." His heart pounded. Another mild shock, another unknown. Each visit felt like stepping into a new chapter without a clear map. The weight of anticipation filled the room. Liam tried to steady himself, clinging to the calm support he had built over the past weeks. He trusted Dr. Harper, trusted his efforts, but a quiet fear lingered. What would she say next? Liam sat in Dr. Harper's office, gripping the edge of the chair. The room felt smaller than usual, the hum of the air conditioner louder, the light brighter. He braced himself. "Liam," she said gently, "your latest blood work shows that your liver enzymes have improved and your thyroid is stable with the medication. However, I noticed a minor irregularity in your kidney function." Liam froze. Kidney function? He had been managing everything else, making changes, trying to take control. Now this? His mind raced. "It's not critical, but it's something we need to monitor," Dr. Harper continued. "No immediate treatment is necessary, but I'd like to schedule a follow-up and some additional tests in a few weeks. Early detection is key." Relief and anxiety tangled in his chest. He was doing the right things, yet life kept presenting these quiet shocks, each one a reminder that health was fragile, that vigilance was necessary, but also that he had the resilience to face challenges. "Okay," he said finally, his voice steadier than he felt. "I understand. Thank you for keeping me ahead of this." Dr. Harper smiled warmly. "You're taking it seriously, Liam. That's what matters. You've made incredible progress in a short time." Walking out of the clinic, Liam felt the autumn air wrap around him. The city moved as usual, people hurrying past, cars honking in the distance, but Liam's perspective had shifted. He noticed the little things, the way the sunlight glinted on wet pavement, the crisp scent of fallen leaves. He called Olivia immediately. "Hey, can we meet for a walk?" Her cheerful voice came through. "Of course. How are you?" He hesitated for a moment, then let himself share the news. "Another minor issue. Nothing urgent, but it's a lot to take in." "I'll be there," she said simply. "Let's walk and talk." They met along the river as the sun began to dip below the horizon. The light shimmered on the water, and Liam felt a quiet peace despite the lingering tension. Olivia listened, holding his concerns without judgment. "You've been handling all of this with more strength than you realize," she said softly. "These shocks, they're not easy, but you're learning how to face them without losing yourself." Her words struck a chord. Liam realized that this journey was about more than just lab results. It was about resilience, about learning to live fully, even when life threw surprises at him. Over the next weeks, he adjusted his routines slightly to accommodate the new tests. Meals were more thoughtful, exercise remained a constant, and regular check-ins with Dr. Harper and Dr. Singh became reassuring anchors rather than stressors. He found comfort in the small victories, a day without fatigue, a healthier blood pressure reading, a conversation with Olivia that made him laugh until his stomach ached. These moments reminded him that life wasn't just a series of tests and results. It was connection, care, and the quiet strength to keep going. One evening, after a long walk, Liam and Olivia sat on a bench overlooking the river. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, the air crisp and calm. "Do you ever get tired of all this?" Liam asked. "The appointments, the changes, the constant worry." Olivia smiled, her hand brushing against his. "Sometimes, but think about how much you've grown. You've learned to listen to yourself, to act before things become urgent, and to let people support you. That's not something everyone can do." Liam looked at her and felt gratitude swell inside him. Her presence had made the journey lighter, her support turning the mild shocks into lessons he could handle. Life, he realized, would continue to throw challenges his way, but he no longer feared them the same way. Each shock, each twist, was a reminder that he was capable, that he could adapt, and that he didn't have to face it alone. As the sun set, Liam took a deep breath. He felt the weight of the past weeks lift slightly, replaced by a quiet determination. The path ahead was still unknown, but he had the strength to navigate it, one small step at a time. And in that moment, he knew something important. The mild shocks weren't just warnings. They were invitations to live more consciously, to appreciate the moments that truly matter, and to hold on to the people who made life meaningful. The city lights flickered on around them. Liam smiled at Olivia, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a calm certainty. Life had its surprises, but he was ready to face them. The road ahead was unknown, yes, but with resilience, love, and care, he could meet it fully. And maybe, just maybe, those unexpected shocks would become stepping stones to a healthier, fuller life.